Hold on, it's buffering for some reason. Okay, hey guys, we're live. Now here we are. I almost thought we weren't live. Hey everyone, we are here, myself and TC Okur, Allegra Jackson and Marketing Medulla, coming to you with this wonderful live stream, The Power of Data-Driven Confidence, with my partner TC Okur, who we will be introducing ourselves in a moment. But today we're going to continue the conversation of the power of data-driven confidence. Last week we dug deep into this, and we really had some great feedback over the last week. Individuals just telling us how these were great reminders, opportunities for you to just really dig back into your data and to be very realistic about what is actually going on in your business and not operate off of your feelings, emotions, and, of course, lead to that overwhelm. My name is Allegra Jackson, the Marketing Medulla. As I said, I'm a business coach and marketing strategist, entrepreneur of so many years because I love what I do. And I support a lot of women entrepreneurs in their business success. So it comes from decluttering all their business ideas, back end, front ends, even their homes. That affects us. Also making sure that you clarify your vision of what you want for your business and your success as an entrepreneur. And also making sure that you build generational wealth without overwhelm. Okay, there are ways to really do this, but you do have to be intentional. And that's why I have partners like TC. And she'll bring in a lot of those tools and resources you need. I'll pass it over to you, TC, for your introduction.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here and it's good to be back. My name is TC, and I'm really all about streamlining your backend operations for your business, for your organization. Talking about implementing simplified solutions just so you're able to understand first what's working, what's not working, leverage what's working for better performance, and whatever that's not currently working, you're able to dissect it, understand it, and then also take advantage of it. Now, when it comes down to understanding your numbers, most times we look at systems, automation, campaigns, all of those great stuff. But the truth is, what exactly does understanding your numbers, understanding your data truly mean? And that's basically what we're going to be talking about in today's episode of the power of data-driven confidence. That's basically what the conversation today is going to be about, and I cannot wait. If you have any questions, you can put your questions in the comment section. We'll definitely pick it up, and also give us clarity as to what you want to hear, you want to talk about as well, just so that we are able to meet you where you are and provide you with clarity and solutions to your business. All right, over to you, Lekra.
Thank you so much, TC. And I think someone last time was like, I'm glad you guys are not drinking wine. I'm like, I tried. TC was like, absolutely not, right? Because there are some constraints that social media has on, just the libations. So, but we do have a wine sponsor for this series. One Hope Wine actually is a huge contribution to the Women into Networking fundraisers. Every time you buy a bottle, 10% of that goes to our organization. So guys, I will drop that link for you all throughout this time if you want to support that community that myself and TC definitely we love to support women. But we're going to get into this, okay? And we're also going to drop our links for you to get coached by us, okay? Don't just flood the DMs, okay? Actually ask for support, real support. So I want to do a mindset check real quick, okay? So for what we talked about last time we did this, and we said, how does it feel when you hear these words, right? Analytics, metrics. How does that make you feel, TC?
Good.
It
Oh
actually gives me
my
goosebumps. I'd be like, ooh, analytics. Right?
God! Honestly, good, confident, empowered. Personally, it makes me um not anxious. I'm always of this mindset that what I don't know is greater than me. As long as I know it, as long as I'm aware, I feel like I can figure out a solution, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically how data makes me feel. Understanding what it is,
Yeah.
yeah, it gets me in that good part.
I definitely agree with you. But one thing that comes up for me too, TC, is unfair advantage. I'm telling y'all, like data is going to give you an unfair advantage. Your competitors
True,
are not going to know what's coming. because you can use data not only to increase your measure as an entrepreneur and as a brand, but you can also do it to compete well. Right? I don't
True.
know how many times I say people they're like, "Oh no, I don't have any competition. I am my own Okay, you sit in that box all day long, but there are businesses out there that are doing it better than you, and you have to compete in the market because there are people that will spend their money. You want them to spend it with you. So, in order to know what your competitors are doing to make people spend money with them, you can use data for that. So,
Yeah.
we want to build confidence, and that's what comes up for me unfair advantage, right? Y'all got to get some. So, here we go. Let's get into it. So, we did a mindset check and we both told you how we feel. Tell us how you feel about when you hear the word analytics, when you hear the word metrics. Please put it in the
I
chat.
need
Put
I
it in
need
the
I need to
comments.
I need to switch that really quick. So when you hear the word analytics, how do you feel? Okay. Tell us in the comments. Yeah, I'm excited. I really want to know.
Boom. So now that we gotten past the mindset check, let's
Mhm.
we're talking about how women statistically we avoid those numbers. This is not a guess. Okay. We know that y'all do not like numbers. We know because we can see it in your business's back end and we can also see it in the front end because we can look on social media and we're like, wait, that social media account then had 200 followers for the last year. Like, where's the growth? And I think like TC too, what we talked about last time,
Mhm.
everything is not about followers. So I'm not just
See?
saying that just because you have 200 followers that you're not growing. What I'm saying is that it should always be going up in some area, whether it's
Yeah.
engagement, right? So you have 200 followers, but they're constantly engaging, right? They're
Mhm.
referring you out to other people. They're constantly buying more, right? So and that's what we want. We want that. Well, what did we say, TC, years ago? I think we did that room on Clubhouse where we said we want you guys to not only gain your ideal customers, but we want you to keep them. Okay. We want you to
Yeah.
attract them, but we
Mhm.
also want you to keep them. Have some
Skip
loyal
them.
buyers that come back time and time again.
I
That's
mean,
it.
that's the only
So
way
the
you're
first,
able to
I
make
think,
real money.
okay, let's just talk about that first. because because we had a whole series
Hmm.
about that. And I think TC, I think when we did that room, we did have a bunch of people pop in at several different occasions.
Yeah.
Sometimes the rooms were very large, sometimes they were small, but depending on where you're at, you're gonna need to understand that when you get a lead, right, which is that person that comes to you and finds you maybe for the first time, and they're like, oh wow, like that's what she does. I like that. Let me use her. And now they have used your service, they have bought your product, but then what's next? Like, did you invite them to come back and buy again? Or are they kind of just sitting in the funnel waiting for you to reach out? So that's what we kind of had conversations about for that series. And what we found was that people didn't understand numbers to even get to the funnel, right? It's like,
True.
oh, well, I'm being selective of who I'm picking at the top, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to market. I don't want to bother people with my social media posts and my DMs and all these things that we say we encourage you to do at the top of getting a lead, right? Because the more leads, the more potential buyers that come down your funnel at the top, the better you're going to have an opportunity to get more at the bottom. It's just like simple math. So when you have people that are like, coming back and they're like, yeah, I bought from TC. And if TC never reaches out and says, hey, I also have, or would you like to buy it again? Whether it's an email or a social media DM or whatever it is, if you're just, letting them buy and forget, then you cannot build off of that. That means that every single time you make another sale, you're going to have to go spend time and money because it takes money to get a whole nother lead.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
what do you say
And
about that, TC?
I feel like, it's not about just the followers, it's not about just the reach, it's not about just the views, you know. Understanding your numbers goes like way deep dive, like just deep dived into how you show up. Like, when you hear statements from business owners and then you hear statements like, oh, I don't want to show up like I'm selling. I'm like, hello, Hello. I'm like, I don't explain. Or you hear statements like, I don't like it when people sell to me. To me, when I hear those words, it sounds like I don't like it when people live life. Because if you understand the numbers, you would understand that every single day of your life, you are making a transaction. You're having something, you're negotiating, you're communicating. It's all encompassing. The it's not about the word selling, it's about how it's been done, right? And understanding your numbers will get you strategically positioned so that you start to look at certain important variables as exactly what they are. It's like when you understand your numbers, you will change your mindset. Just an example, right? When you start to understand your numbers, you will start to realize that it's not about me selling, it's about me serving. Now, when you serve with purpose, it's not magic. Like when some people have the audacity to clean up maybe their email list, or they have the audacity to unfollow certain people and clean them out of their follower account. It's not because they're trying to be proud or they don't know. It's because they understand their numbers, and they understand that if I have a chunk load of people who do not fit into who my ideal client is, they are going to like literally close up the pathway for my ideal client to come in. So I need to get them off those seats so that my ideal clients can see clearly and have seats for themselves. So you see the power that comes in it? I mean, that's such huge power.
So everything you said was so powerful because it's about service, and I think that even a lot of times when we think about service, and we have to be very clear as to what we mean by that, because you're serving, but it's not like you're serving to a default, right? To a false.
Yeah.
Like some people serve and they don't ever ask for the money, and it's like no, you still have to have some level of call to action. And that's something I'm working on with one of my clients right now. Like we have this a lot of the conversations go back to that, right? Because it's not normal to always be asking for money, right? It's not something you're taught, like as a person, right? We're actually taught to not ask for money.
Yeah.
We're
You know,
actually taught
when you
to,
ask for money, asking for money is forbidden.
right.
It's
Right.
wrong.
Like I know so many people that subconsciously when they get into their business, they go, "Oh, I don't like being sold to," because in their minds it just looks wrong because asking for money to them is not okay. Now, for those of us who are entrepreneurial and we know that, to get to your bottom line, if you want to get to that goal, that freedom lifestyle to serve more people, you're going to have to ask for money because it's a resource, right? And it's the main resource that's going to build you quickly enough to get to that point where you can serve more people in the
I mean,
world.
it's a medium,
So
it's
have
a tool, right? It's a tool to get the message farther, to reach more people, you
I mean,
know.
it's if you look at it like that, right? We did the mindset check, so we're not here to do any more mindset checks for y'all, okay? Because we're just telling y'all that we listen, TC. I got out of that boat a long time ago. We're telling you guys that it's just a matter of really repositioning yourself in a way where you're looking at your numbers. We're not even saying, hey, you have to look at your numbers every single day. We're just saying
Yeah.
take a
Mhm.
moment and just look at where you are right now. Are the people, are the followers that you have actually following and engaging, or is it just a dead number? Are the people in your email list, those 6, 7,000, 10,000, 50,000, however many thousands of people you have in your email list, are they actually there?
Are they
Like
really
TC, I think you
there?
mentioned a long time ago that people will sell dead lists. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll sell you emails. Sure, no problem. A bunch of emails with no one behind them. And with the world that we live in today, okay, if you're only sending emails every so often because you don't want to bother someone, because you feel like reaching out and telling someone about what it is that you have to help them is bothering them, that's not them, that's a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not here to shift your mindset about you being a you problem. We're saying that if that is the case, then that's something maybe you need to check. But for those of you who are in a space where you're like, yeah, I do want to look at my numbers, we're encouraging you to do this in a way where you're not just looking at like, because one of the things I think I brought up earlier was that visibility piece, right?
Yeah.
And being able to be seen is, I think, the first area where people get stuck. Not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
asking, but just being seen enough. And if we look at the three data points, right, that every CEO should know, we started with reach, visibility. We had the second part, which was the engagement, which is the connection. And then we
Yeah.
had the third part, which is the conversion and the
Mm-hmm.
action. So when it comes down to the reach and the visibility, if I'm already feeling, to your point, TC, feeling like I don't want to bother people, I wonder what it feels like to now think about having to show up in their face every day on social media.
Crazy. I've actually had somebody reach out to me and say, it's a small business, like a pretty small business. And she's like, TC, I love how you show up for your business. Um, can you be the face of my business? Like, do the things you do for your business, for my business. And I smiled and I said, what did you call it again? And she said, I love it. And she repeated, I said, listen, you said TC, I love it how you show up for your business. So you listen, it's mine. So that's why I show up for it. So you have to do it for, because I mean,
Yeah.
unless you're telling me that I have a level, maybe I have some equity, maybe there's a level of ownership, right?
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
I'm to do what you're asking me to do, it means I'm a partner in the business. Or
Hmm.
it means the business, because what it means, it's going to take my face. Right now, it's not like
Hmm.
you're paying me as a brand ambassador, or you're paying me as a, like, what you're trying to do is literally like you're trying to run away.
Yeah.
Why do I want to buy from somebody who is running away? If you're not even confident enough to tell me about what exactly you want me to buy from you, why do I need to buy it from you? Like, there are thousands of more people I could buy from, because they can sell it to me. So why should I buy from you when you all you do is run away? How am I so sure it's actually genuine? Because you're not even
Well, I think
confident.
but I think it's because they actually physically, like literally mentally think, like mentally, they have a condition in their mind saying that that can actually work. Like somewhere in their belief system.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. This is seriously like somewhere in, and this is for anyone who comes to me and they go, yeah, like I've had people go, oh, I can never do this business without you. Without me, I'm just your coach. Like, so if you are saying that I am the person running your business, then no one's running your business,
True.
because I know I'm not running it, right? I know all I'm doing is giving guidance, accountability, structure, and resources, right? I'm not sitting there in the back end working the business every day like the person who owns it. So if I mean, I'm telling you, for anyone who feels like you can actually hire someone to be the face of your business because you don't want to show up the same way, it's the same concept as every single business that we talked about. And let's go back to what we said in our last series on live streams, me and TC. We said big brand, small business. You are a small
Yay.
business, but you are a big brand. So when
True.
you don't want to show up in that way, you start to, like, your brain starts to second guess you. Like, I thought you was a
Yeah.
business. Like, what are we doing? You don't want to be out there talking to people, but you want someone else to do it. So that means that you want them to have the business. Every
Very
single brand that
interesting.
we went through, every single one, TC,
Mm-hmm.
they were all hands in, brain in, all hands on deck. No one said, well, I don't really want to do that. No one. Every single brand started with either one person or a partnership. Even college students who got together, created a business plan, a concept, worked that thing, went through the challenges, right? But they showed up.
True. I agree. You just have to show up. Now, how you show up is that's where the strategic positioning comes in. But you do have to show up. And I think that's basically where your data comes in, right? Because now we're not just telling you to post. No, that's not what we're saying. What your data does is now give you that clarity you need to strategically position yourself so
Hmm.
that you're
Hmm.
not doing too much. You're just doing enough, just enough to
Hmm.
get you the results that you need, right? I mean,
Well, you may have to show up a lot in the beginning, but then what happens, TC, when you show up? Like, we love the 30-day, for me over here, we love the
yeah,
30-day rotation where I can go hard for 30 days doing something new.
yeah,
And then I can look back on 30 days and say, do I need to continue doing that? And if I do, in what volume? I'm not going to give it the same energy I did for the first 30 days because I'm going to look at the data and I'm going to figure out that that's what was working really well. So let me fine tune that and get rid of all the other stuff that I was trying to do. But how many times do we just keep going without, decluttering some of that stuff that didn't work and actually
mhm,
doing the things that did? I think that if we actually do that, then we won't feel so afraid to show up, right? Because that visibility piece, it comes from, sometimes people don't want to show up because they're like, eventually I'm gonna get burned out. I've heard that
mhm,
from women before, where they want to show up and say, let's say for example, remember clubhouse rooms we used to do every day at 2 p.m and
mhm.
9 a.m. Well, we used
Yeah,
to have people come all the time and they would just go, oh well, I wouldn't be able to do what you do. Why not? Why
true.
wouldn't you be able to show up every day like that? And a lot of times what we would get is, oh well, last time I tried that I burned out. Well, let's wait, let's go over that. Because think about it, if you were showing up and looking at your data, say every day, right, then you will be able to look at your Instagram insights, your Facebook page stats, all this stuff that we're talking about, right? Looking in these places, you may not even know where to find it. So that's why we're here. We're teaching you guys how to look on the back
Mhm.
end. Because sometimes it's just like, well, I don't even know where that stuff is. So now I already feel defeated.
True.
But we're going to tell you where these places are in the back of your social media platforms so you can look at it every day if you want to and see like what it's telling you. Are people seeing your content? Is your audience growing? Just because you have 200 followers consistently doesn't mean your audience is not growing, because people unfollow all the time. So you may be getting rid of people that you don't need and adding people you do and still be at 200, which is good because that means that you're getting more quality followers. But you
I
wouldn't
love,
know that if you didn't look at your insights.
I
You
agree.
wouldn't know that.
Mhm, I agree. Let me give an example that just came to mind. And there's this real estate agency founder, real estate agency founder. Yeah, I think that's how I could put it. And so, like, I don't know if you know, but real estate folks, they have this thing with getting leads and leads and leads here and there and doing all of those things with leads and oh Lord. And she reached out to me and she's like, you see, I be like get so many leads, right? But when they come to the webinar, for some reason, they start to make her feel like she's a scam, right? And
Mm,
so I'm like, how do you mean? And she's like, she gets like this. She's gotten a couple of feedback, and people are like, oh, this is not what I expected. Oh, I thought it was something else. Or I did this. I thought that this. And so she's not been getting like the results that she wants. But was she
mm,
getting leads? Yes, she was getting leads. Were people
mm,
joining her email list? Yes, people were joining her email list. Um,
mm,
but was that really what she wanted? No. Now, technically, if you're looking at data, depending on the angle you're looking at it, you would be like, okay, let's do the checklist, right? Okay, I'm supposed to get leads, 100 leads, boom, boom, boom. Check. I had 150 leads. You've won. You're happy, excited.
mm,
And then you
mm,
say, how many people joined my webinar? Oh, amazing. I had 100 people join my webinar. Oh, brilliant. Clap for yourself. Yeah, you're excited.
mm,
But is that really what you wanted? The thing about
Mm,
data is that you see what you need to see. You see with your eyes open. Some people actually look, but their eyes are closed, right? But
mm,
with data, it gets you understanding the different angles. And so she said, but she's like, something is missing. There's a problem somewhere. And because she's like giving me all the nice stuff and all of that, and I said to her, well,
mhm,
you just mentioned it that there's a problem. Now I do not know what the problem is until we check, we find out. We need to audit
mhm,
what you have from start to finish. Let's know what the problem is. And we did the audit. And the interesting part, we found out that her messaging has been misleading, right? Her
ah,
message has been misleading, and that is why. Now, let me tell you what happened. Now, fast forward about, I think, 4 weeks later, the
mhm,
messaging is done, all things are done. Now, before she would have, because there was like a revamp on her page and all of those great, before she would have like 100 thereabout leads in like maybe like 2 weeks, all of those, like they'd be like dropping in like water.
mhm,
And then she started having 20, 15 in like maybe 3 weeks, that kind of thing. And she reached out to me and she's like, "See what's happening." And I'm like, well, let's wait. Let's see what's happening. And so these people joined the the master webinar. Now they joined the webinar. They all joined the webinar. The last set of people, all of them, about I think 26, all joined the webinar. And the
mhm,
interesting part is that she was able to sign 3 clients. Now, when we did like our check-ins and then we were just going back and forth, she said to me,
mhm,
she said, "See, do you know that I noticed that I actually have saved 20% of my ad spend?" I'm like, I don't get. She said, yes. So she noticed that the ads she used to earlier, she would
mhm,
run the ads and she was, I don't know, she said she doesn't know how come, but she noticed that she was spending so much money on the ads. But
mhm,
now, after she switched her messaging, she started to spend 20% out of the regular one. And I'm like, that is saying something. And she said, not
mhm,
only that, she was actually fidgeting and, very anxious when she wasn't getting so much leads. And then
mhm,
now I said, the truth is that instead of people going out when they've already joined the webinar and getting upset, affecting your brand, people right at the topmost part of your funnel now understand clearly what this is about. Now they have been able to make a decision. Do I enter? Do I not enter? Now, if I enter, I know why I'm entering,
mhm.
right? So there is
Yep.
clarity from the very beginning, and your expectations are being managed. So when you get people in, you now have a better understanding, and they also have better understanding, and then it becomes easier for you to then close them out because it
Okay.
was, you know, it was insurance, right? And so sometimes you want to think about how you can leverage your data so that you start to see the things that typically you might not be able to see and you might not be able to understand. Now that's where the confidence
Mhm.
comes. Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah, and I was just reading Charlene's comment under your
Oh,
question.
oh, where? Oh,
When you
okay.
hear the word analytics, how do you feel? And this is what we want. We want the honesty, guys. This is I love this. So, and I know Charlene for many years as a Win member, did online, and this is what I will say. Right, she won't hold back. She'll tell the truth no matter what. And she said, "Great question. The word analytics." Oh, read it, TC, because my phone just died.
Okay, so here's it, right? It said, great question. The word analytics feels boring to me. Straight lines, conventional. Now, ask me how my numbers make me feel. Oh, all of a sudden I'm switched on, flooded with gratitude, and tracking those bad boys like like a like a blood hot LOL. Now this, do you know what this reminds me of? This actually reminds me of um automation and to automate. The day I found out what these two words meant to people, like I was blown away. So I think this is where like literally this is it. This is what comes to mind for me. But I think she's right, you know.
It's very interesting. I'm gonna read it over again when my phone comes back on because I had to step away and charge it. But I wanted to pull it up, guys, and so I want you guys to see these are real examples. Like we know people don't like it. We know it's icky. We know it feels weird. We know we're not saying this and we're not doing this live because we just want to sit up here and talk to y'all. We really are so strategic in our own businesses, and we know that doing that work and being very clear about how you feel about it and what it means, that gets you past that first part. Then the next question is, how are you using your analytics? How are
Mm.
you using your data? How are you, because I mean, no matter how it feels, you better be using it. I don't care how it feels, right? Because it's we that was a mindset check. We don't actually care how it feels, right? But what we do know is that you better be using it. And if you're not, then we know, and I don't care what anyone says. I mean, like you can make lots of money in your business without having to look at your analytics. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in order for you to be sustainable and to keep that money coming, because there's a lot of people with $1 million, but that doesn't mean they're a millionaire. So
You're right.
so we want you to be sustainable. We're not saying
Mhm.
look at your numbers just to make money. We're saying look at
Mhm.
your numbers to be it just be very knowledgeable about how to maintain your presence in the market as a business, because you're not going to be in your business forever, right? Unless you plan on just selling it, right? And retire from it. But if you're doing your business as a sustainable measure, that means that you're going to offer jobs. That means you're going to offer lots of opportunity for people to, gain more from you. Like I know for me, we upgrade in our services every quarter. So we used to raise our prices every quarter, but we don't do that no more, right? I think we've hit a cap. So we want to hear, we want you guys to understand, like with analytics, it's not always about, the surface level stuff. And that's what I think we think about, TC. I think we think about the surface level and not the overall sustainability.
I
Um,
agree.
but I do want to look at this comment again before I move on. So let me pull this up real quick because TC, you commented on it. You say you think it's true.
No, I know you're really right. Because while you were speaking, I was thinking about something. You know, um, we talk about understanding your numbers, but one thing I've realized about especially women entrepreneurs is the fact that we do not understand that when you know your numbers, it kind of touches every other beautiful part of our lives, right? Now, talk about money, the way you handle money. If you start to understand your numbers in your business, it will change your relationship with money. Honestly, I'm not the even when I was like dead broke, right? I would never check like price tag of things. I'm that one person who would just get things because I need that thing, and then, and I just move on. If I don't have the money for it, I won't buy. But the moment I have the money, I get it and move on, right? So I wouldn't necessarily just check certain things. But when I started to understand that it's very important to be intentional with the numbers, understand what they are saying, understand how it is moving, it will start to change your relationship with money, or rather it started to change my relationship with money. I'm able to better invest, I'm able to better replicate my money. And so I start to understand the power that comes with being in control of how my money gets to work for me, what my money is really about. And it started to also show up with the way that I use my time and how I value my time. So you see, this is like a ripple effect. It just trickles in.
Mhm.
And so sometimes I get people who would say, "Oh my God, CC, like why do you like this whole data analytics thing?" Because I'm like, this thing is not that deep, right? But it's very powerful. It's powerful because it cuts across every other area in your life. When you start to understand the numbers, you will start to act and move smartly. You will start to move sustainably. You will start to understand that it's not about making 10,000 today. It is about making 1,000 every single day, right? 1,000 every single day. It's not, oh, I made 10,000 this quarter. Now, the next time you're going to make another maybe 1,000 or 2,000, that's like in 6 months' time. What's that? What's the name of what that is? It doesn't even have a name. But if you are able to plan a consistent, sustainable measure, it not only build that confidence that you need to show up, it also helps you leverage that strategic positioning that we keep talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's what everyone wants. We know that. And I put Charlene's question up because it's a great question.
Oh,
The word analytics makes me, it feels boring to me. Straight lines, conventional. And see, this is where I said, and Charlene is a very deep individual. So I'm not saying that she's surface layered at all. What I'm saying is this is a surface layered answer, whereas we're not necessarily talking about the word itself, right? We're talking about how it feels when you dig into that area. Analytics is your numbers. That's all it is. Analytics is numbers. Now, when you talk about data, data isn't just numbers. That's a difference, guys. Like when we talk about this is Wine Women and Data Wednesdays. So data is going to include your analytics. It's going to include a lot of these areas where to be honest, what TC said is so true, that we literally are showing up with our eyes closed. We just don't want to look at the numbers. Thank you, Charlene, because she said that. Now she said, ask her about how her numbers make her feel. Oh, all of a sudden she said, I'm switched on, flooded, gratitude, tracking those bad boys like a bloodhound. So for some of us, it may just be a trigger word,
I agree.
right? And that means that you and your feelings, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So so we don't care about the word that's being used. We care about, are you looking to see the people who are coming to you for support? You said you wanted this business. You said you wanted to serve people with the talents, the gifts that God gave you, the skill sets that you've learned. Some people I know go to full programs, spend thousands of dollars to get these certifications, licenses, and degrees. And then they go into the business and start operating like they can't show up at all.
I
So,
know. I
so
know.
it's like we have to be very clear, okay? That, and thank you, Charlene, for this. I'm gonna get off of that part so I can get back to the title. But your analytics is your numbers. And if you're not checking them, if not every week, every day, every other day, whatever the case may be, you're literally operating your business blind. Because what happens is, and I will stop with here because I know we were really late for y'all today, but we wanted to give y'all some extra love. So I'm just gonna, go through this, and we'll end this part here and go to the next one, which is the engagement part. I just really want you guys to understand that when you check your numbers and when you really show up intentionally in your business, you want this stuff because it's going to affect every part of your life. When I started looking at my numbers in my business, it started making sense, right? What I was doing. And that's why I wasn't getting results. I was repeating the same thing, but getting the same result, right? So I found out in my numbers that I wasn't growing. So the same people were seeing me. That's why I was getting the same thing. Right. So if you are very realistic about your numbers, then you'll be very realistic about your business. Now, engagement wise, okay, baby, let's just start with engagement because we can probably go all day. And it's so many areas that we're going to talk about this, guys, throughout this series. So I want you guys to drop where you resonate, because visibility means that you're able to show up so that people can see you, right? A lot. That's also part of your data, because if you look at the back end, like say Instagram, Facebook, and you look at your reach, right? This is what I noticed, TC, before I go over to engagement, because it's going to tie into it. Your visibility, what I noticed is that I was making lots of money on Facebook, like for several months. I want to say like 6 or 7 months, y'all. I was making buku money. I was like, I'm getting all this money. All I had to do was post, okay? And I noticed that at that time, I was growing my reach immensely because I was in the creators program posting every day because I knew I was getting that money, right? So it made me post instead of 10 times a day for my clients and my business. I was posting 30, 40 times a day, right? Which means that when I looked at my reach, the reason why I was growing my audience was because I was posting 3 times as much as I normally did. Yeah. It wasn't because I was just a great business coach. It was because more people were seeing because my numbers went up.
Yeah.
So when we talk about visibility, guys, you are the person that is going to drive your numbers. So if you only post once a week, your numbers are going to reflect that. If you post once a day, your numbers are going to reflect that. If you post, like one of my clients, she said, I'm posting 25 times a day. I said, what? She was like, oh yeah, look at my follower count. I went to go look at her follower count. I was like, oh, keep doing what you're doing. Because whatever you're doing, it is working, right? But she's excited about that, and she schedules out every single post. So if she gets 25 posts done, scheduled out for the next 3 days, she's not stressing. She's like, it'll happen. Whatever I'm doing is working. So that's what we mean by looking at your numbers, because I was scared for her. I was like, oh, that's a lot of posting. Are you getting any, real results? She said, oh yeah, I got 2 new clients. People are blowing my DMs up about this and that. I'm scheduling them out so I can go on my day, and I'm going to the local shops and passing out my business cards, and I'm making my phone calls and following I was like, listen, this is what it looks like to know your numbers, so that at the end of the week, when she goes back and she goes, okay, I didn't just gain followers, y'all. I dropped off 30 business cards at these places. So now I can also look at those numbers. I also made phone calls to these people over here. So I made 5 more phone calls to people that I can follow up with. That's another number. These are more people that I'm reaching because I am now saving myself time where I initially can see my insights and my analytics every single day. That's power. That's the power that you guys have. So visibility is all based on you. Now, engagement is a whole nother area, because you have to be visible in order to engage. Yeah. Like engagement goes where you're visibly showing up, like how we are, myself and TC, we're on a live stream talking to you guys. We're going to probably repeat this for the rest of the year, right? You can probably see the same live stream about 5 more times, okay, before the year is over. Right? That's one level of visibility, right? And then we also do other things to be visible. But here's another thing, guys. When we see our live stream all throughout the week, we're also posting clips of the live stream. We're getting people over to the main full video to say, hey, drop your comments. Let us know how this resonates with you. And I go to TC's LinkedIn, and TC has like all these comments under her LinkedIn of people saying, thanks, this was a great reminder. I needed this. People are her DMs. So, when we're visible like this, guys, this is going to give people an opportunity to feel like we're giving them access.
I agree.
So now we can engage. And that's one engagement. And TC, before I pass it to you, the other part of engaging is when people engage with you, are you engaging back? Are you
Mhm.
responding to their comment? Are you liking their comment? Are you getting back in the DMs with them? Like, are you literally sharing in their DMs when you get something you feel like will benefit them? But anyway, two-part engagement. We'll start with that. Anything come up for you, TC?
Okay, so I love the engagement part because one thing that comes up for me is what do we see? What do we see as engagement? Is it just the likes and the comments? Is it the conversation or the well wishing? What do we really see as engagement? Because I feel like that is very relative for business owners. I mean, depending on what your objectives are, towards a certain maybe campaign or towards a certain activity, whatever you're doing, it's important that we understand what we're looking for. Are we looking for the claps or we're looking for the conversation? And remember, conversation when it comes down to conversation when it comes down to engagement. So conversation when it comes down to engagement is a two-way thing, right? I mean, some people just be like, oh, I was speaking the other day at the SOS club, and then somebody was saying to me, oh, am I just going to just post and just what do I'm like, hey, did you put somebody down to respond? I mean, it's a conversation, right? You're having a conversation. That's basically what the real engagement and entails. But what so many of us geared to us is maybe like the claps and the well wishing, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good because that aspect, right, of your data gets you to
Mm-hmm.
a certain level. So, like you said,
Yes.
it depends on your objectives. Your well wishers obviously will get you to a certain level, but the conversations will get you to that other level, the client's level, the money level, right? The level at which, so understanding your data would help you refine your objectives and also better help you reach your goals, right? And so I feel like, it's very important that we understand because engagements spreads it across every part. Some people will say, oh, when we say engagements, we're just talking about social media. That's not true. Engagement with your emails, engagement with your networking. If you do in person networking, boy, I'm telling you, it's that engagement you really need. Some people be like, oh, let me tell you a story, Allegra. Oh my God. I went for an event, yeah. And so I just randomly just went in and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to volunteer with them and all. And so I sat down there. And then there's this lady comes in, very sweet looking kind of lady, beautiful. And I think she knows she's beautiful, you know. But, and then she comes in and then she's seated. And then everybody be like, wanting to engage, wanting to like, hey, what's your name? What do you do? And all of that. And so, when you are in this room and then you have somebody ask maybe like icebreaker questions and all of that, just to get the room, all. And so I remember that I just asked a random question. And so she'd be like, oh, so the question was, what's that, or who is that one person you would love to connect with today that would literally, maybe change the trajectory that you currently have for yourself or maybe your goals and then she's like, God. I'm like, God, I don't understand. And then she's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, no, what I mean. So I'm trying to explain again. I'm like, okay, no, what I mean is, who is that one person, you know, you would want to meet? And it's like, I don't need nobody. I have God. And in my head,
Wait a minute. Like, wait.
I'm not joking.
Maybe she misunderstood the question.
Yeah, I had to ask her again. And so and so I, you know what I then did? I then, because I was so confused, I had to, the Nigerian in me just, kicked in. And so I turned back and I looked at her and I said, if all you wanted was God, I don't think you should be here, because this is not the place. Like, I mean, did you miss your way from the church? I mean, why do we
So
miss our priorities?
first of all, God created us to be like Jesus, not like him. Okay. We were made in the image and the likeness of God. Okay. But even Jesus had disciples, even he had help. Okay. So let's just break that
Even
down for us
even
believers.
Jesus networked. I have never
He had a
seen
whole
a good
community.
networker that like him. He does it so smoothly. He connects. He literally meets people where they are. He
Hmm.
listens. He have conversations.
Hmm.
I'm like, jeez. I'm like, sorry, sister. Honestly. And that's where we miss it. Now, if you
Yeah.
understand your numbers, you'll be strategic even in the way you approach and the way you carry yourself. And so when
Yeah.
you go out, you understand that you're representing your brand,
Yeah.
right? You would understand that when you go out as a woman entrepreneur, it's no longer about who they say you are, it is about who you say you are and what brand you carry, the perception you want the people to have about you. And so when you
Yeah.
walk into that room, we don't care about you, we care about what you represent.
Yeah.
So you give me such
And
dumb
and
answer.
no, wait. Okay, listen. Sometimes we, and this is why we teach entrepreneurs to be very selective too, because there are, like I said, there are some people that maybe the business is not for, because we know that every successful business is not done alone.
Mhm.
Um, and it's so funny when people go, I got me to thank. I'm like, no, okay, we know there was some people behind that success. Nobody does it alone.
Mhm.
So I just, yeah. So I just want to ask this last question before we tune this down and give you guys an opportunity to work with us. Me as a business coach and marketing strategist, I'm so selective in the season about the right fit. And so I want you guys to watch these videos and just really see, where it is that you need to make changes in your business. Where is it that you need to make changes in yourself? I have so many partners now that I know are heavily vetted and highly experienced. So if you are in an area where you just like, I just don't know where to go, as a coach, I guide you to that and give you that resource, even if it's something I don't do. Right. So I want you to, drop me a DM if you feel like in any way that you need that support. And also with TC, do the same, right? In your systems, in your back end, especially if you want her to really get you to a new level of success. Sometimes we're stuck in the same place. We don't know how to grow.
Yeah.
So you have to be open to do and try new things. Absolutely continue the session next week. Absolutely. We're going to give you guys some more guidance and tips. Just make sure that you let us know where you need support. And this last question, are you engaging with your audience or just waiting on them? That's what came up for me, TC. Because the truth is, engagement requires you to actually have a strategy or a plan that says, this is what I'm going to do at this time, right? I'm going to show up on the live stream. I'm going to go back and respond in the comments. I'm going to go make sure I send out DMs to the people that watched and said, thank you so much for joining. If there's any support that you need, let me know. Like there's engagement requires something from you every single day, because if you want someone to engage with you, most of the times as the business owner that's requiring someone to pay you for a service,
Mhm.
you better be the first one to engage. And this is where I want to end with, because I'm so sick of the privilege mindset, right? We should have put this on for No Cap Fridays. I am very sick of the privilege mindset of the entrepreneurs that say, well, I built the product, I created the service, now everybody should flood and run to me.
Okay.
You are not that special.
All
No,
right.
seriously. because it's great to know that we are that powerful, that we can have a thought. And this is why I feel like we get caught up in it.
Yeah.
We have a thought, and then that thought becomes a thing, and we go, oh my God, I'm a magician. I can literally think of something, and now it becomes a physical element in the world, and now I can tell people about it, right?
Mhm.
So now that you have this concept, this idea, this service, it's great, but now you got to prove that it works. You have to show up for people now. You have to get people to trust you and to say, I'm willing to give you my money so that you can show me how this works. And if you're not actively going out every day, like I always, have a number of people that I reach out to every day. Why? Because on a consistent measure, if I'm not reaching out first, most likely people are not going to reach out.
I agree.
Engagement requires you to have a plan to say, how am I leading the way? How am I leading the way for people to want to engage with me? How am I showing up in the world to give them opportunity to see me in order to engage with me? And I'll end with this too, because the reason why we look at analytics / numbers is because it tells us volume. And what volume and what capacity do we need to show up? In the beginning of business ownership, when people start a new business and they say, oh, I don't want to show up that much, I tell them go somewhere else. Because your marketing is going to take up 80% of your vested interest in the beginning of your startup, whether it's your money or your time.
Yeah.
So if
most times it's both.
Yeah. But listen, it's going to require more of your time than it will your money.
Mm-hmm. And that's what so many people want to run away from and be like, I have the money, I'm just gonna pay you. Go.
Well, no. You can pay me very well, but it's going to take you
But you
so
still need
much
to put in the work.
Yeah, because if the work doesn't come, then the money will deplete. You will end up broke as a joke with a business and a business coach. And then you're going to blame it on your business coach. Mm-hmm. So I want you guys to be realistic about this, because we're teaching you right now for free how to be intentional about looking at your numbers analytics. There's no excuse. So when you get in our DMs, that means that you're going to be ready to give those results to your clients, to your customers, and give it to yourself. Go ahead, TC. I would love to hear your take on this, and let's wrap it up.
Know your numbers is no luxury, right? It's not meant for just a specific set of people. It's not meant for people who have been in business for years. No, knowing your numbers, understanding your numbers is actually meant for you who is even just starting, because the flex that comes with getting started on a stable foundation, on a foundation that is very solid, on a foundation that sets you up for sustainable success. I feel like that's a flex on its own, right? So even if you're just getting started, understanding your numbers is is a very important concept that you need to start to get yourself acquainted with, just so that you will minimize the number of mistakes and the number of uncalculated risks that you get yourself in. And even if you are a seasoned entrepreneur, honestly, there is no end to being successful. There is no end to making money. I mean, I feel like the more money you have, the more money you want to have. The success you have right now, trust me, the more refined success you want to have. And what can get you that if not understanding your numbers, understanding what exactly you have around, just so you can take advantage of it, right? Refine it, make it your own, okay? Just so you are better efficient, better effective, better performing, and most importantly, sustaining the success that you already have. All right. We're going to see you next week, same time on Wednesday. But look out for our social media posts: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We'll definitely be sharing clips about this. And if you have any questions, our DMs are always available. And yes, your numbers are very important because your business is also very important. That's it.
Very good and well said. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see y'all next week. Have an amazing week, and make sure you guys tune in for our clips, replays, and have a blessed weekend as well.
All right. Bye.